Right now, we're in a very dire situation. September is upon us, harvest is starting in the deep south, and we have 0 bushels of soybeans on the books to be sold to China for this current crop that's about to come out of the field. Historically, over the last 5 years, about a third of soybean sales to China would be booked. China amounts to 25% of our total U.S. soybean crop. So that would be 8 or 9% of the whole U.S. crop would normally be on the books with China right now, and we have 0. That is alarming. The farm economy as a whole is struggling. Inflation has caused our cost of production to rise drastically on every front. Commodity prices, in particular soybeans, are down about 50% from where they were 3 years ago. And our numbers are deeply in the red. And we send this letter to President Trump because we've been talking for months about needing to have sales in place, a deal in place, a phase 2 type agreement that has purchase commitments along with a level playing field on trade with no tariffs, and we haven't had anything happen, unfortunately. And our appeal to President Trump and his administration is make soybeans a priority in any trade negotiations that are taking place. Soybeans are the #1 agriculture export to China, and in the last trade war it was 71% of the losses that we had as American farmers, and they're critical.
Almost everything that could go wrong for Arkansas farmers did go wrong this year, and it's so bad that many are facing bankruptcy or even the closure of farms that have been passed down for generations. A dismal global market and plunging commodity prices mean there's little to no hope of breaking even for many farmers, even as sky-high input costs rise because of inflation and now tariffs. Not to mention bad weather earlier in the year.
This time last year, the rice price was about 40% higher than it is now. The inputs costs have gone up, so after a horrible year last year where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
Though President Trump's big beautiful bill provided a much needed update to safety net subsidies for farmers, they won't see those federal dollars until late next year, by which time some have projected that as many as 1/4 or even 1/3 of Arkansas farmers will face bankruptcy or be forced to leave the business amid the crisis the American ag economy is currently in. It's already taken its toll this year.
I'm a 6th-generation farmer from Newport, and we made a decision to go out this year in the spring. So my son will not be the 7th generation on our farm.
5 of my customers have committed suicide. That's how serious that this is.
Today, Arkansas farmers gathered to share their struggles with staffers from the state's congressional delegation, pleading for Arkansas lawmakers on Capitol Hill and the governor to convince President Trump to provide emergency funding to help them make it to next year.
We have to have ad hoc payments right now to make it through this year.
If there's no emergency funding this year, there will be 1 out of 3 farmers will file bankruptcy.
Until the federal government steps in to save them, farmers have no one to turn to but God.
Farmers, in my opinion, dear Lord, and it's only my opinion, they're closer to thee than anyone else on this earth because we deal with your earth every day. Dear Lord, we're hurting, dear Lord. We can't help what's happened to us.
We're just absolutely fucked as farmers, guys. Everything is so fucked, and I do not see anybody surviving this farm crisis that we're in. Guys, look, one of the best splorn crops that I have ever raised in my life. And because of the tariffs, China will not fucking buy it. And they are the only country in the world other than, well, they are the only country in the world that buys splorn. And so now I'm literally just chopping it, blowing it on the fucking ground because it's fucking useless, it's valueless, there's nothing I can fucking do to it. I am going to need government assistance to make it through this fucking crisis until these tariffs end. Look, I've never raised a splorn crop like this, guys. And this is just fucking heartbreaking to me. I don't know how I'm gonna survive. You know, Trump said he fucking loved us farmers, and here I am just blowing my splorn crop all over the ground. Hopefully he works a deal out where Antarctica and Mars will start buying this splorn and save the farm.
So that's what we got for American farmers, is zero empathy. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now is well, next time you'll vote the right way, or that's what you get for who you voted for. That to me, I want to say it doesn't sound very American of people, but here lately, that's all we're doing is complaining. The last thing I want is an American business to fail. I don't know how much more we're going to see for the next 3 or 4 years. Last thing I want is an American farmer to go under, because us as Americans didn't want to do anything to support them. I don't care what side of the fence you're sitting on in this. The last thing we need is our land to be gobbled up by our corporate people to lease it out to another country so that they can come in and do what they want on the soil. Think about it, people.
For decades, we've been told that we can't feed kids free lunch because that's socialism. We've been told that we can't give partial credit towards college scammy loans because that's socialism. We can't have universal health care. Your Nana can't get the cancer treatment that she needs because Medicare for all would be socialism. We can't feed and help the homeless because of socialism. Everything that doesn't benefit you is socialism. We've been hearing this about everything that would be good for society for decades. And the second that you need a helping hand, it's a necessary thing. It's not just, guys, this is actually good for everybody. That's why I need that money. I voted for you. You voted against me. I voted so that you could stay in business and get the help you needed. You voted to hurt people that didn't look like you. And that's why I hope you have the day that you voted for. And I hope you get everything you voted for that we told you was going to happen. This is the America you wanted. You said it's not very American. You voted for this. You voted for this, and now you're getting what you voted for. And I'm sorry that you're not smart enough to have actually looked into what we told you was going to happen. Have the day you voted for.
Arkansas's MAGA farmers are furious right now. Yeah, the same farmers who cheered for Trump, who believed every promise about bringing jobs back and protecting American farming, are now watching their crops rot in their fields. This is unbelievable. This is not just another political story. This is about real people, real families, and real food going to waste. Yeah, and honestly, it's the perfect example of what I call FAFO season. Mess around and find out. So today, we are going to talk about what's happening, why it's happening, and what it really means for America moving forward. Let's get into it.
So that's what we got for American farmers is zero empathy. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now is,
yes, that's what we're saying right now.
well, next time you'll vote the right way, or that's what you get for who you voted for.
Yeah, that's the way you voted. That's the fuck around and find out.
Doesn't sound very American of people, but here lately, that's all we're doing is complaining.
You voted for a con man? A felon? I don't know what to tell you.
Is an American business to fail. I don't know how much more we're going to see for the next 3 or 4 years. Last thing I want is an American farmer to go under because us as Americans didn't want to do anything to support them. I don't care what side of the fence you're sitting on in this. The last thing we need is our land to be gobbled up by our corporate people to lease it out to another country so that they can come in and do what they want on the soil. Think about it, people.
So if you could change back time, would you still vote for him? Because Kamala was going to help you guys. Donald was not going to help you. When he was going to make people rich and lower their taxes, he didn't mean you. This is just the FAFO. Sorry. And you said it best. You're sitting on the wrong side of the fence.
It's Joe from Georgia. So another state is in the news about collapsing their farming industry, and it's the great state of Arkansas. They held meetings in Arkansas this week with the farmers because of the dire situations that they are in, because folks, they're not being able to sell their products. They have money in the ground, but they can't get any money out because the United States government, which had guaranteed them certain things, were lost in the big beautiful bill. Well, in these meetings, it has been said that if an emergency bailout, which is what the farmers are asking for, folks, they're asking for a bailout in Arkansas, that 1/3 of them will file bankruptcy. Hundreds of millions of dollars going into bankruptcy. So you're going to have these people who generational wealth will be totally wiped off the map in the state of Arkansas. But here we go again, another state that overwhelmingly supported the president in his race. And believe it or not, there are still 70% of those farmers will say they believe in the tariffs that are putting them into bankruptcy. Folks, when those type of things are happening in your life, you've got to ask yourself, would I have thought this way 10 years ago? And I'm going to say pretty easy, the answer is no. You're not going to worship the thing that's bankrupting you.
So I saw that the soybean farmers in the state of Arkansas are having a find out phase. And you know what I hate to say? I told you so. No, seriously, I'm really sick and tired of the fact that the left keeps having to say, I told you so. Because we didn't want anybody to suffer, okay? We voted for everybody to survive and thrive. And you voted for the suffering of other people, and here we are. You are actually the one who is paying the price and suffering. Because you can't sell your soybeans to China because what's that? Tariffs. You can't get that new farming equipment that you needed because of why? Tariffs. Didn't the experts tell you that? Didn't people warn you this would happen? But no, you let your internalized hate, racism, and misogyny override literal facts that were right there in front of your face that made you vote against your own best interests. And here you are, expecting a government bailout yet again. You didn't want anybody else to get government bailouts. That's socialism, and you don't like that. So what makes you so different and so deserving when you voted against government money going to anybody who has stumbled upon a hard time? Why do you get it? What makes you better than other people? Again, I don't like that we are having to say, I told you so. Okay, I wanted you to do well. I wanted you to survive and thrive. But this is what you voted for.
So that's what we got for American farmers, is zero empathy. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now is, well, you know, next time you'll vote the right way, or that's what you get for who you voted for. That, to me, I want to say it doesn't sound very American of people, but here lately, that's all we're doing is complaining.
Okay, this is for MAGA supporting farmers, which is the most of them, the majority of them. This is not what's happening. If you pay attention to all your right-wing media, including Fox News, we on the left have been showing you empathy by trying to scream, this is happening. This is going to happen to farmers. We did it before you elected him, and we've been doing it after he was elected. I can't tell you how many videos I personally made after you elected Trump, where you are being destroyed. That's what empathy is. And it's not a lack of empathy when we just want to stay out of the way of letting the consequences of your actions take root. You're asking us as taxpayers to bail you out. We were bailing you out through U.S. aid and so many other Democratic funded programs. And we were happy to do that. We want those back. I don't see one MAGA supporter demanding that U.S. aid be funded again, because that's what kept a lot of you guys afloat. We on the left have been screaming for that. But if you want to talk about a lack of empathy, it's not going over our heads that you had no empathy whatsoever for our LGBTQ community and what was going to happen to them if you won your election. You had no empathy for transgender people, and those include kids with families who love themselves, each other, families, tight families, going through a hardship like you guys are as farmers. You didn't show empathy for them. You didn't show empathy for women who are being pushed now into this purity culture and this Charlie Kirk warped vision of making us just baby making machines. You showed no empathy for brown-skinned people trying to earn a living, being thrown to the ground and beat up and kept in for-profit prisons that are benefiting Republican donors. You showed no empathy for any of them. But you're going to come on here in your high fucking horse and tell us we're the ones that don't show empathy. I want you to show one right-wing news source or content creators, Charlie Kirk, any of them, that have been talking the way we have about how farmers are being impacted by the Trump administration. Find one, and I will stand corrected. You're going to find nothing but those of us, the libtards, who've been fighting for your asses.
Let's go back a little. When Trump ran for office, one of his biggest talking points was supporting American farmers. He said he was going to stand up to China, fix trade deals, and make sure that America's food supply was strong. Farmers loved that message. Many in Arkansas voted for him because they thought, finally, someone is speaking for us. Oh, wow. But here is the truth. Those trade wars with China hurt farmers more than they helped. We all know this. Instead of selling their soybeans, rice, corn, or cotton overseas, they were stuck. Promises of bailout and government checks were made, but even those didn't cover the losses. These farmers have been in loss, we all know this. And now, years later, farmers are still struggling. Crops are not being sold, and families are losing money day by day. So the big dream of MAGA farming is turning into a nightmare. This is so sad. Think about this for a second. Farming is not just a business. It's a lifestyle. These farmers wake up before the sun, work 12, 14 hours a day, and put their sweat into the land. Now, imagine standing in your field, looking at acres of crops you planted months ago, only to see them rot. All that work, all that hope, and nothing to show for it. That's not just money lost, it's dignity lost. Their families are stressed, kids see their parents worried. Some farmers are even facing foreclosure because they cannot keep up with loans. Yeah, they can't keep up. This is not just a farm problem, it's a community problem, the whole community. And here is where it gets deep. Farmers thought politics was going to save them. Yeah, they thought Trump is different. He's one of us. He understands the working man. But in the end, he's a politician like all the rest. Yeah, he is. The sad part is this is not just about Trump. Both parties have failed farmers for decades. Democrats make promises, Republicans make promises, and in the end, the system only seems to work for corporations, not the small farmer. Yeah. Meanwhile, billion-dollar companies in agriculture are doing fine, while the small family farm is disappearing. And now, MAGA farmers in Arkansas are realizing that maybe they were used for votes, but not really cared for. Yeah. This is why people are calling it FAFO season. Look around and find out. Because when you put blind trust into a politician without demanding accountability, this is what happens. This is what happens. But let me be clear. I don't say this to laugh at farmers. I don't say this to make fun of their pain. No. I say this because it's a lesson for all of us. Yeah, it's a lesson we can learn from these farmers. Don't just believe the campaign slogans. Don't just clap for the speeches. Watch what happens in reality. Watch the actions. These farmers believed the hype, and now reality has hit them hard. So where do we go from here? That's the question. Where do we go from here? Do farmers keep waiting on politicians who only show up during election season? Or do they organize, demand real change, and push for policies that actually protect their land, their crops, and their families? Because at the end of the day, oh my God, at the end of the day, farmers are the backbone of this country. Whether you like it or not, farmers are the backbone of this country. They feed America. If they are not supported, we all lose because no farmer, no food. Yeah, no farmer, no food. So I want to hear from you. Today's farmers deserve help now, even if they supported policies that hurt them. Or is this just the reality of FAFO season? That sometimes you have to learn the hard way? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And remember, this is not just about Arkansas, it's about every working person who has ever been promised the world and left with nothing. So let's talk about it in the comments. Catch you next time. Bye.